Hey, this is Nate Hughes from the Stone City Band. Y'all come on out to Vegas. We got a bunch of funk for you. But I actually met Rick not knowing him. His mother had a store on William Street. And my mother had took me to the store one day, and it was just this wild child back behind the counter, man, that was sticking his tongue out at me. And I was like, what's happening? you know, I, you know, I don't know what was going on, but later on, I found out that was Rick. But Rick wound up going to Canada and stretching out in other things before we actually met up personally. You know, because he actually went to school with Levi.
Okay.
What actually happened? Rick, he went to Canada. Played with some rock guys, man. Because he was Neil Young's lead singer. You know,
Right.
and after he did the rock scene for a while, man, he came back to Buffalo doing some promotion, concerts, promotional concerts, and he made his money to do that first album. And we had a local group at the time, and he came down in my basement and, you know, picked out the guys he wanted to build a band around, you know. And that's how it actually started, before Motown, moved everybody to LA. Uh, we all had the same type of energy, and that was to get ahead. And it was just that perfect chemistry, man. I mean, whenever we started playing, it was just like we had been together for years,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Uh, Everything just came together. I mean, it's always been like a question answer. When you can start a groove, you're grooving, you hear a lick, you answer the lick, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody had a part, so actually all the parts were talking to each other. That's basically all it was. And that's what made it so melodic. We just bought the vibe that was from Buffalo because we were all from the same hood. Um, we just gelled. I mean, Busting Out was my first professional session. I wasn't even in the band yet, you know. But I still remember that, man, because I drove the rental car full of equipment from Buffalo to New York. Well, we were on the road, man, and Garden of Love came about. Uh, we would have sound check, man, and just be grooving, and Rick would have the sound man just record every groove that we did, at sound check, and that's how Rick came up with songs from sound check. And we were on our break uh, on one of our tours, which was, I believe, it was Fired Up, and then we did the Garden Love album when we were on a break during the tour, and we actually did a Garden Love album in a week.
Y'all finished the whole album in a week?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
the whole Garden of Love album, and we actually used Prince equipment. We got we took Prince
Is that when y'all
equipment.
took his equipment off the truck
Yeah, we used that to do the session with.
and put it back on the truck?
Put it back on the
Okay, so that
truck,
is
and
true.
then we went back on tour.
Wow. Wow. Did he ever find out?
I don't think Prince even knew. He didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
Well, it's just one of those stories.
Talk to me about street songs. Now, the first part of that album, now I hear that Super Freak ended up becoming like one of the last songs that was actually done. That album was pretty much done by the time that y'all got to that. Pretty much almost a finished product and mastered. Well, not mastered, but just studio wise.
Yeah, that it was one of the last things we did, but that was also the song that Rick hated. He didn't like that song, and it became one of his biggest hits. You know, and that was a real strange situation. He ended up liking that song after a while, after he made that money.
Yeah.
When I first heard that song on the radio, man, I mean, the impact of just the sound. I mean, it wasn't nothing like it that was on the radio, and it just had that attitude, with that Buffalo attitude. You know, I don't think nobody would understand that Buffalo attitude. I mean, it came through the music. I mean, all your emotions came through the music, and until people understand that, I mean, they'll never feel that situation, man. Because Rick, he wrote from experiences. So everything he wrote about was an experience that he had been through. And it just came through the music because it was so powerful.
Well, I'll tell you one person who understood it, um, which was Quincy Jones, because every time that I hear Thriller, did you guys catch this? It was Give It To Me's bass line in a whole nother key. Did you catch that at all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Quincy Jones came to our concert sitting in the first row, man. I know he was taking notes. I know it. You know, he's a genius, though. And it was an honor to play on the album. I mean, um, I don't know why uh, uh, the, the percussion player that they had at the time, I don't know why him and Rick used to bump, just bump heads, man. They just couldn't get along. And if it wasn't for Levi telling me to stay, because he didn't think, the percussion player was going to be there too long, I probably would have auditioned with somebody else. And it happened, man. I mean, Rick dropped him, and Levi told me to come to rehearsal one day, man. They were rehearsing for the Street Songs tour. And, you know, Rick was on vacation, and the band was just rehearsing. We rehearsed for like 6 to 8 weeks, man. And we didn't have a percussion player, and Levi just said, "Come on and play percussion," you know, at rehearsal. And I came every day. And when Rick came in town, he was like, "What Nate doing on percussion?" Rick still has never hired me to be in the band. You know, I just happened to come in there and start playing. You know, he didn't say like, "Nate, you're hired to be the percussion player." I just came in and started playing, and then the next thing I know, Rick was telling me to get my hair braided, and I was going on the road.
Wow.
Um, well, Rick always said, whenever you're doing television, just act like you're happy and you're glad you're on there. Have fun with it. You
Right.
know,
Right.
uh, this is your music they're playing. I mean, let people see that you enjoy playing your music,
Right. Right.
and that's just the way it was. I mean, all the television shows. I mean, we did a lot of TV shows. You may see some of the guys on there and some not. That's because Rick used to split the rhythm section up, and Some of them will do television shows. The rest of us will be in Buffalo recording.
Right.
You know, so he can keep the projects going because I mean we were doing like Stone City Band, Rick James, uh, Mary Jane Girls, do rags, processing the do rags, just a lot of different projects, man. So we had to keep that energy level up, and we had other musicians that were in the camp, man. That they used to participate, you know, and I pay homage to them, man. That they were much a part of the situation as possible. I still stay in contact with some of the guys. You know, some of the guys are known better than others, but I mean, it was all a family at the same time.